to Doug L. Daniel.
This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic.
This is 5-time the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Brian Adam Pierce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Armour, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah! G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is the Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Brian Adam Pierce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H, Undertaker, I'm your maker, bury the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, tell a cunt to muscle. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the vein, you best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you ain't down with that, then I got two is what you suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, holding up the club. Let's be busy 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
I was trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. But a square peg in a round hole just never seems to fit. And you
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Australia's longest-running wrestling podcast. That's right, it's Wrestle Radio Australia, where we look at everything going on around the world of wrestling. I clearly am not Lachlan Albert. Lachlan is off this week. Lachlan got a bit of a PAX bug. We had a great time over the weekend. So joining me, as always, is the man who is slated to win Colosseum 2047, Todd Eastman. Todd, how you going?
Your lips to God's ears, mate. I'm around then. Jeez.
And our special guest, he joined us last week, and we love having him in as a guest. He was shouted out on night 2 of Colosseum. It's Oz Wrestling Cards and Pario Magazine's own Jamie Atz. Jamie, how's it going?
Good, thank you. Yeah, thanks to Rose for that shout out that I've been told about.
And by geez, no matter what you thought of Colosseum, Rosie and the team did a fantastic job. Jordan just slid right in there. I thought that was great.
Yeah, he's such a... They're a great two-man team, and Jordan adds that little extra of like being a wrestler to it, which is why I really enjoyed it. I thought they didn't skip a beat adding that person in, which is awesome.
If you don't want to skip a beat, don't forget to come and join us in the chat here at twitch.tv/WRA. See, I've learned. Yeah, I know.
No, you're doing well, mate.
Come and join us and have a chat. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course Twitch itself. Let's go through the results. Let's go match by match, I think. First up, the Hulk show opened with Big Fudge defeating Ricky Utomi. Todd, what did you think of this one?
You were just about to take a drink. Yeah, it was good. It was, gee, I tell you what, they went through 1,000 moves in that opening match. They really tried to get the crowd going from the drop. It also put on, like, it exhibited a bit of the fact that Ricky, I keep going to say his old name, Rufio, that Ricky is like the different character now and is a different, it's not the old guy that was like the happy, like Rufio. He's now Ricky Utami. I really enjoyed it. I got Fudge over huge in the end, which is the main job of what that match was for. So I thought it was really a really strong opener.
Jamie?
Yeah, I thought it was a great opener as well. Like you said, Ricky definitely has that aura and presence about him now. When he comes out, he is the cocky arrogant heel. He's not just the happy-go-lucky guy anymore. But when you mentioned them doing a lot of moves, I don't know if they needed that, because in the venue, the crowd was behind Fudge from the get-go with that Big Fudge is dead entrance. That was enough. Everyone was already behind Fudge.
And I thought the Big Fudge is dead thing was kind of an interesting choice that paid off quite nicely. I was kind of concerned he was going to come out as himself. But as Keanu Reviews has said, Ricky Otami is so good. I'd be really surprised if in 2025 we don't see him in a lot more places around Australia. This was a real coming out party for Ricky. And Fudge is becoming a very consistent character. I think that the more comedy aspects of his presentation is beginning to take a backseat to his wrestling ability and his in-ring presence. And I for one, am really, really happy to see that. From there, we went to a referee stoppage where Tommy Knight defeated Lena Cross in 10 minutes. I loved this. I thought this was so good to just give Tommy that, big heel presence for the weekend. And I thought that was really, really impressive. And a perfect opponent for Tommy as well, because he can look like a bully. Jamie, what did you think?
This was one of my favourite matches from the weekend. Lena fighting back against him was great. Like, she looked just as powerful and just as scary as Tommy, and then Tommy really got under the skin of a lot of people as well, which was great.
Yeah, he can work heel or face equally well. Todd, what do you think of the last heavyweight and his victory over Lena?
Yeah, it was it was a perfect sort of match for him to establish what he was going to do on this weekend. If you know what I mean, he was going to be that killer. He wasn't going to pin someone. He was going to the ref was going to have to stop it. He wasn't going to. He didn't really care. He was just going to go through anyone it took to get to the Colosseum, get to that to the what was it called, Big Fang, White Fang or Black Fang. Thank you.
Black Fang.
He was going to kill anyone in his way to get to that. So yeah, I thought it was a good match.
And again, Rosie Gale and Jordan did such a great job getting Tommy over straight away. That
was another thing. I think I tweeted about it too. That it was so good to hear commentary putting over what workers have done in their local feds, and then putting over storylines and stuff like that. Like for instance, like the opening match with Ricky Otami and Big Fudge, they mentioned that he was the Pro Wrestling League champion and that he just retired Outback Adam from Pro Wrestling League. So like they it's a good little backstory going into it.
And that makes sense too, with it being a national tournament. You kind of you bring the best of the best, so you should be referencing what they've done to get there.
And the great thing was, it wasn't more than a couple of seconds of a sentence or two, but you immediately got what they did. They did the same thing a bit later on with Robbie Thorpe. They mentioned he was the Intercommonwealth champion at MCW, and that just made the match and the results of the match even more important. After that, we had the tag team gauntlet match featuring Billy Slater and Skater Boy Pidgey, Culture of Eugenie and Moko Kai, MK Plus Ultra of Cosmo Cooper and Michael Spencer, and PPK, that is Frankie B and Nikki Van Blair, as well as the Backslide Girls, Kingsley and Shay Cassidy, with David Streamer and Everett Connors, and finally Third Eye of Ty Thayer and Xander Sullivan, all falling to the might of Jamie's T-shirt. That is the Velocities. Jude the Dude London and Paris De Silva. It all took 14 minutes and 58 seconds. There were some quick pins, but there were some standouts during the entire thing. And Kat Esmack is yelling out to Culture, and I think everyone is yelling out to Culture because they left such an impression, at least on the stream. What about on the live? Were Culture as over live as they were on the stream?
Yeah, they went from sort of like Eugenie's done a couple of dark matches in PWA. So a couple of people there knew her, but them as a pair, everyone's like, oh yeah, these two are a dominant force that we'll hopefully see more regularly.
Yeah. Breaking it down, PPK that beat the Backslide Girls in 2 minutes 36. PPK beat Billy Preston and Skater Boy Pidgey, who were a great comedy team in 5 minutes 28. Culture then beat PPK in 8:36. Then MK plus Ultra in a longer match of 12:15. And then the Velocities came out and beat Culture. Todd, what did you think of the match as a whole and also some of the individual segments?
Well, I thought the start of it opened up a bit shaky. I was a bit worried when, because PPK and Backslide Girls was okay, but it's just like, oh, gee, I hope the rest of this sort of picks up. And it really did, coming out after that with Billy Preston and Skater Boy Pidgey. And then when Culture hit, it was a total different change as well. It was sort of like, that was okay, the level is changing now. This is when we're getting serious. So it went from them to MK plus Ultra, which was a really good match as well. It was also fairly explanatory that Culture could beat MK plus Ultra, because it was sort of like the new pairing of MK plus. It wasn't the normal pairing of Michael Spencer and Kai Drake. So it was like viable that, okay, these guys, even though that's a team, there's still a good thing. And then Velocities and Culture did enough to really keep Culture looking good, even though they lost that to the Velocities. And the Velocities had, looking back now, the Velocities had to win that for what was getting announced this week.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we're going to come to that in our wrestling news a little bit later on. Jamie, anything else to add on this one?
Yeah, I think it did go from storyline focused in those first couple of pairings with David Streamer and Everett Connors on the outside. And then, it did switch to, okay, now we're the technical showcase of what these great tag teams can be. And the Velocities, I knew something was up when I saw that gear, that green and gold gear. I was like, I tweeted out, there's something suspicious about this gear. What's happening here? And then, lo and behold, I was right.
I'm really glad personally that the Velocities have just clicked back into being a tag team. They had a fantastic match at the last major PWA show, and now they're just back to being a really, really solid tag team. I like this a lot. I think there was a lot there to like. PPK, whether it's Spencer and Drake or Cooper and Spencer, they've got good chemistry, and I was really happy to see them. And then Culture, they really were the breakout stars. And as Keanu Reviews says, after this match, I really want to see Culture versus Velocities in a full match.
We'll wait till they see Toa as well,
Yeah,
the third member of Culture, because he's in the moment over training in Japan. So wait till he comes back and see. You can see what they can do as a team as well. Even if you did the three, if you did the three of Culture, exactly, three cultures against the full Velocities team. I'd like to see that. I think that'd be great.
That would be good. I thought this was really impressive and a lot of fun. Rounding out the first half, we had Kai Drake going up against Robbie Thorpe and actually coming out victorious. Again, this was so important. Kai is no longer a tweener or a heel. He is a fully fledged babyface. And we saw more of this with his introduction the following night. I was all ready to argue the point with Lachlan, but he's not here. He was trying to convince me he was a babyface. He was a heel on Saturday night, but it didn't quite work. What did you think of this, Todd? What did you think of this match?
I loved it, but I hated it because it got my hopes up about Kai.
Yeah.
I watched this going, oh, are they going to do this with Kai for the weekend? That would be amazing. But it was Robbie Thorpe again proved that he's absolute money, and he must be double jointed by the way his leg folded like that. I don't know how that happened, and
that was sick.
Yeah, I don't know how he's okay, and but yeah, I've been saying it for ages. Robbie Thorpe is like Elliot Sexton too. Yeah, he's got so much future in him, and it's seeing his maturation over that last year alone, sort of being under the wing of guys like Rocky and that in MCW. You've seen that growth in him now, and that he can go to these places that they didn't know who Robbie Thorpe was walking into there, but they sure as hell knew who he was when he left. So, and even in a loss, he still left a mark on them, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I love this match because I thought it was a great showcase for Kai. It was and again, it got me it got me hopeful that something might happen this weekend. So I guess that was the point of it. So it did its job. It was great.
That is what Sydney do really well. PWA build people up brilliantly. I mean, there's a reason Robbie is where he is right now. And the guy is definitely the future of wrestling in this country. Jamie, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, this was my first time seeing Robbie Thorpe live and in person. And yeah, he did a great job of connecting with the audience right away. Played up the I'm from Melbourne and we're better than you factor. So the crowd hated him straight away. And yeah, that finish was just disgusting.
Yes.
Sitting and seeing that, I was like, oh.
Pretty gross. It was pretty gross. For me, I really like this. This had a lot of elements that I really like. It was pretty much a big man against a small man match without being overly obviously so. So they didn't overly play into the size difference, but it was there and in the background anyway. I think that Kai Drake is so talented and so much fun to watch. And some of those chops, wow.
It's so hard.
Some of those chops hurt me. And I was sitting at home 2 days later watching it. Kai is the future. Robbie is the future. It's that kind of match where you watch and you go, hang on. In 2 years, these guys are both going to be on top of their game. And it's just a question of where they are. And, I mean, Robbie's already the Commonwealth champion down here, and Kai Drake is a multi-time PWA tag champ. So I think that, you know, really it was great to see this much future in one match. And I can't wait to see where they both go. And they're both going to be the face of Australian wrestling. And the nice thing is, you know, having someone from China and England be the face of Australian wrestling just speaks to our multiculturalism here, which makes me feel good. You know, that's kind of nice. We had a break, and after the break, we had Jimmy Townsend defeated by Grayson Walle. I don't know who that is.
It's a new guy. It's his first PWA match. Yeah.
Right.
Debut.
What a strong debut. Going over the Joker of Jimmy Townsend. What did you think of this, Jamie? How was it live?
Oh, it was loud. It was very loud in that building. The Goldberg-esque entrance was awesome with the sort of ships passing in the night with all of the past people. I understand why we had the Mick Moretti involvement towards the end. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I would have preferred it to just let Jimmy have this moment and let Jimmy really take all of the gloss and glow from this. But yeah, really enjoyable. Grayson Matty has improved even more than he was before. Like, he's on a different level to everyone else, and it's not necessarily the physicality in ring stuff. It's just that presence and knowing when to slow down and play up to the crowd a bit. It worked so well.
Especially that bit, like you probably wouldn't have seen it, Jamie, being live, but when he had Jimmy in a headlock, he started like cutting a promo to the camera, and then Jimmy sort of fought out of it, and he dropped him back into the headlock. And as he dropped him back into the headlock and on the ground, he goes, "I wasn't finished talking," and just kept going. Just these, like, you could so see the WWE polish that's on him now. He was like a raw diamond when he left, and now he's just like polished and like an absolute superstar.
Yeah, it's and even the wrestling play up to the cameras element that independent.
Knows how to work the camera, knows where the cameras are.
And no matter what, I mean, if you spent 5 minutes with the guy, you went, he's going to be a star. He's absolutely going to be a star. There was always that feeling that Waller or Matty or Fez or whatever you want to call him, he was always going to be a star. And it's great to see he is. And what's even more impressive, and I'll talk more about this later, is the fact that he's coming down here. And he's clearly been given carte blanche to work here on occasion and just get into things. And I think that that's a really, really good feeling.
I mean, I love, like, technically the match was great as well. Technically, like, he gave, it wasn't like it was a squash match or anything. He gave Jimmy Townsend a lot and really put put the kid over as being someone that, like, we talk about Kaya Drake being in the future. Jimmy Townsend definitely can be the future of PWA as well. There are so many guys now that they're on that sort of like that real close level to breaking out into that upper echelon of a PWA card. And that really did show it, because even though we had like Mick Moretti's spot, Mick really took a back seat to what Jimmy was doing that night.
Mm.
So, like, just the match itself was really good. And then the promo that Grayson cut afterwards was great as well.
It was beautiful. It was really nice. And it puts over PWA. And none of this, like, you know, there were 800 people that watched Colosseum over the weekend. That doesn't happen without Grayson Waller. You know,
No.
they could probably...
Well, it was 15,000 or something on, like, YouTube.
Yeah. And they're not all Australians. There's a lot of overseas people.
No.
Number.
Of course.
Well done to the PWA team for the production on this, incidentally. It looked incredible. It looked great. It looked full. It looked loud and atmospheric while being in a dark room. Difficult to do, and you nailed it.
Yeah, and it goes to show how good the PWA production team are when we sort of almost forget to mention that.
Yeah.
Like, because we just like it's just like watching a normal like pay-per-view,
and
we just forget to mention that that this is amazing for what it is.
Yeah, Ben Anderson, Jax Jordan, and then their camera team, phenomenal. They do such a good job.
And there's a reason some of them work all over the country on production in other cities, because they're so good. So really, really well done. And it is worth mentioning at this point. I really, like you guys, I thought this was a terrific match. I think that Waller has that charisma, and that's a magic charisma. And a few months ago, I said they're treating him a bit like Piper when he first joined. In that, he wasn't able to wrestle, but they still gave him a lot of mic time. He had a slight injury, and they gave him a lot of mic time, and they gave him the Grayson Waller effect to get him over. And it's worked. It's worked. And then you look at who he worked in those first 6 months of him being on the main roster before A-Town Down Under came a thing. He was working Edge. He was working Sheamus. He was working Cena. These things aren't small. There is a purpose behind this. So, yeah, he's a star, and he was treated like a star, but it's partly because WWE have positioned him so. Knowing all of that, how good is it that he came down? Like, that's fucking remarkable. Sorry, that's the first swear. 58 minutes, half an hour in, I'm finally sworn. But that's remarkable. What a great effort, both by Waller and also by PWA and WWE for giving us that talent. I just thought it was great.
I think I tweeted it. I either tweeted it or I said it in like the group chat I was in when we were watching it. That like Grayson was playing the Bret Hart role, where he's a heel everywhere else in the world except for when he comes to Australia.
Yeah. There was no way he was going to be booed. He was a little more the second night, but that's probably because of something I have no fucking idea about. So you guys can help me understand what was going on there, please. But just a really great match. And I don't think this is the last we'll see of Waller in PWA, but I think he will be used sparingly.
Oh, yeah. Very sparingly.
Yeah.
I hope it's like that new era of WWE where they are willing to send sort of some people back home. Indy Hartwell, for example, could come back to Melbourne and would be a phenomenal addition to any card.
Yeah, it'd be great to see Indy come back. And so, you know, I was really, really happy to watch this match, and I thought it was great, which led us into, I think we sort of talked about that as much as we can, boys.
Yep.
Which led us into the PWA heavyweight title and PWA Colosseum first round match. Jessica Troy defeated Charlie Chevs Evans in 22 minutes and 47 seconds. Todd, what did you think of this main event?
Talk to Jamie first about it.
Jamie, what did you think of the main?
It was a really solid match. I think it was everything I expected. I thought those two would do a great job. They both had awesome entrances, and Charlie Evans is another one of those people that walks out of your star immediately. Her presentation over the whole weekend was brilliant. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was an unexpected result for me.
I think everyone sort of expected Charlie to go over in this match, really.
Yeah, I expected Charlie to win, and then if she didn't, there to be some form of shenanigans that caused her to not win. But no, it was a clean finish.
Todd. Or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you might want to do. We'll get all the good stuff out of the way first.
Okay. I really, really like the match. I think it was positioned in the wrong place. I think it is so hard to follow Waller and Townsend with the charisma they have, the combined charisma, and the fact that Waller is a deal. He probably said close with the other, but I think that they should have put Waller on last, especially as just one. I liked the match. I liked the ending. I liked the respect. I liked everything about it, but there was something missing, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a real aggression. Maybe it was a real sort of reason to fight. Yeah, the title is there, but it seemed like they were just going move, and weren't actually wrestling. And I can see you both largely agreeing with me. So that was kind of my take. But still, it was a good match. There's no doubt it was a good match, but it just lacks something for me. Todd.
Sorry, Jamie was going to say something.
When you look at what happened on night 2 at the end as well, it kind of feels like, could we have not just done that on night 1 and that be the reason just didn't run the table and get turned into Cena?
Yeah. Do you remember when we talked?
We're in trouble. Anyway, go ahead.
Do you remember when we talked about the Usos WrestleMania match?
Yeah.
That's what this felt like. There was all this stuff in there. I wanted to see the emotion. I didn't see any friggin' emotion between these two people that were best friends, and Chev saying, "I didn't care. I'm going for that title." I didn't feel that emotion. I think the two of them, while this was a good match, I think the two of them have had better matches before for way less things on the line. And I don't know, maybe if it's because it followed like Grayson and Jimmy, and it's a hard act to follow, but I wasn't disappointed in the match, because the match was technically great. It was a really good match. It just didn't have the feeling. It didn't have any emotion in it, which sort of killed what happened in night 2 for me dead as well. Because
it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I don't know why, if you were going to do it, I don't know why you wouldn't have done it where Jess and Chevs could have been on complete opposite ends of the tournament and met in the final.
Yeah.
With her the whole way going, this is fucking Chev's country. I told you, I'm coming through the whole tournament. This is Chev's country.
Yeah.
I'll meet you in night 2 in the main event. That way you could have had Grayson as the main event in night 1 and those guys as the main event in night 2.
Yeah.
I guess the issue with doing that is that makes the whole tournament very predictable if they're on opposite ends of the bracket.
But then after Chev's lost to Jess, you kind of knew that Jess was running the table after that. Jess Cena was in the house.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's an incredible lineup anyway. But yeah, it did look very much at that point that it was a foregone conclusion. But I was still highly entertained by night 2, which we'll move on to now. See, Lachlan's not the only one who can do tenuous links. Night 2 opened up with a banger. It was, no doubt. Kai Drake against Jessica Troy. Jess won in 8 minutes, 43 seconds. Todd, we'll go to you first. What did you think?
After I watched this, I messaged the guys in my group chat, and I just went, I like this better than I liked the main event last night.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a better match. So,
it was a sprint. It was a sprint. It was a great sprint. By that introduction for Kai was something, wasn't it?
But then even at the end of it, when he eventually lost, I went, fuck. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because I thought, don't tell me, are they going to put the belt on Kai and then have Kai get screwed in the main event? Or, you know what I mean? I like all these things, machinations running in my head. But then when he lost, I just went, fuck, of course. It's just Cena.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As soon as Kai lost, I was like, okay, Jess is winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite obvious. It was quite obvious. But look, I so enjoyed this match, much like yourselves. I think Kai is now at the point, he's not going to be hurt by the loss, which is good. Like,
no.
He's so untouchable.
Everyone loses to Jess.
And so charismatic that it's not going to hurt him. But, geez, I wanted to see him win. And that's what PWA do well. They build up people that you really want to see win. So I don't think it's such a bad thing. But I would have liked to have seen a Smokey win the sword. Like no Smokey, no Spike Dudley, no Big Fudge has ever won the sword, and I want to see that because I think that'll make it so much more interesting. I
guess it all depends where they go with Hydrate now. It's all going to depend on what they do with him next. Will be make or break for him. If he goes on to just go back to tag team stuff and they lose, or they go back into Kai, Spencer, and Cosmo working on something strange. Yeah, it all depends on where they go with Kai.
See, I like what Keanu said here a couple of minutes ago. Like, Kai's so good, I'd love to see him dethrone Robbie Eagles for the soul of PWA. That I could see, and that would be great.
Yeah, I think it would too. He can't just be a guy with a spectacular entrance every night and amazing cosplay.
No.
He can't.
You can't afford those dragons every month.
No, but that was something. A quick side note: when we were in Sydney last doing the show, I got a message from a wrestler, and he said, "Oh, can Kai and I come and watch the show tonight?" And I said, "Sure." I didn't know Kai, but Kai was such a gent and such a lovely guy. And then back then, he was one of the top heels of the company. They've worked so hard to make him a credible babyface. I think maybe he should have won. I really do. Maybe he should have won. I don't know. Anyway, the second match.
Nobody beats
I like
Jess.
this a lot. I like this. Sorry, mate?
Said nobody beats Jess.
Nobody. Okay. But I like this a lot. Tommy Knight defeating Big Fudge. I really liked it because of the dominance. I like this because this worked even more to get Tommy over as a monster. Jamie, what did you think?
Yeah, because Big Fudge is so beloved, to just have him just get absolutely murdered by Tommy Knight for the vast majority of this match.
So much so that I thought, oh, Fudge is winning this. There's no way they're having him get beaten the shit out of like this without he's got a small package in him or something where he's going to win this. Yeah. Then when he beat him, I went, oh, holy shit.
Yeah. I enjoyed this. It was good. We then moved to the Bent Spoke Brewing Company 6-pack challenge match. Reese Angel defeating Bobby Bishop, Everett Connors, Harry Singh, Mitch McCarthy, and Tony Sin. Todd?
I believe Jamie has a thank you to perform in this review.
Oh, yes.
I am very, very thankful for Bobby Bishop saving my life, because when Mitch McCarthy flies at you, that is a terrifying prospect.
Yes.
I've had Robbie Eagles fly at me, and it's a much different situation when it's Mitch McCarthy.
Yeah, but he hits faster. Robbie hits faster. I remember looking and seeing Robbie start off and going, because this is like we worked him and Kozai Fujita up at QWA. Shout out to QWA. And like it was me, Tim, and Mitch, and we were going to catch Robbie doing a dive. And I saw Robbie take off, and I've just turned my head, and then when I turned my head back around, the head turn was like this. Because I had to do that thing where you fake that you can't see him coming. I've done this, and by the time I've done this, he was already through the ropes. I've gone, holy shit! And if you look back at the tape, I just grabbed both Mitch and Tim and pulled them in front of me. It scared the shit out of me. But that boy can move fast. I can't imagine what it's like having. Well, I probably will find out eventually what it's like having Mitch McCarthy fly at you. But I like.
I crapped myself a little bit.
little bit poop,
Sure.
just a little bit,
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
a little bit. This was got like, look, I'm a home guy, so I loved it for the fact that I know how well Bobby and Mitch did in this match. They really, to me, and this could be just me being a homer, this could be, they really stood out to me as being the guys that were sort of like the generals of the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
They sort of like, all right, kid, calm down, come here, we're doing this.
I
know Bobby like saved Hari Singh's life at one point when Hari decided he wanted to be a luchador, and Bobby sort of had to muscle him around to help him out. So there was that in it. So, but yeah, it was a really good match. I don't know if I agree who won, but you know, again, I'm a homer.
I don't have a problem with Reece Angel winning. He's just come back from injury. He's looking good. He's crisp. Yeah, I don't mind Reece winning.
I think Reece was always going to be the one that won that though. From the announcement, I was like, no, Reece is winning.
Yeah, it's sad because it's like, well, it's not going to be an interstate guy.
No.
So it's going to be someone from PWA. I thought maybe Hari Singh, just because they really do like big him on commentary. They really do.
They put
a lot behind him. Yeah. So I was like, well, maybe they're gonna do Hari Singh with this.
Tony Sin would be another interesting one too because his character is awesome.
Yeah.
He's got that.
Yeah. He does, but it feels a little hokey.
There was a chant of we've got Karrion Kross at home.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Bit Timu Karrion Kross, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've got Karrion Kross on Wish and here's Tony.
Yeah.
I like this a lot. I have an issue with the Backslide girls coming out and introducing Everett Connors.
He's one of the girls.
Yeah, I get it, but did it work with the live crowd, or were they completely disinterested, Jamie?
No, I think we all just wanted to see Everett use this as a showcase of what he can do, not be stuck in Backslide girls mode.
I think the Backslide girls are great, but I think they need to be used more sparingly. Is my point. I don't think they should be just out there singing for no reason and then go backstage. I don't think it quite works. And if the crowd didn't react, then there's kind of the evidence. Sorry, friends. But the match itself was terrific. Really, really impressed with Bobby Bishop. Only for his ability, because in Queensland he's a heel, and here he pretty much played the face.
No, he's pretty much a heel at Wide Bay and a face everywhere else.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
So
isn't that cool?
It's because we wanted to try. I wanted to try it with him.
Yeah.
I was like, you haven't done it. Like, this is a great place for you to do it because we're we're like 4 hours out of Brisbane.
Mm.
So you can do it, and you can. That's basically what I use Wide Bay as. Go and do it. Try something. If it doesn't work, next month we'll change it back. It's fine, but just try it. Like Toa, we had Toa as a heel for the first 2 months. It was like, yeah, this is not working, dude. You are not a heel.
Yeah, no, not at all. He's too nice.
So, but yeah, that's like Bobby's great.
I also they also shouted out Wide Bay quite a bit for Bobby. By the way, they didn't just shout out Jamie. They shouted out Wide Bay. Hey, WrestleBrania felt unloved. And as Keanu says, the match reminds me of how good Reece is. If only he had not got injured. I think he's coming back pretty strong, and this was a show of that. Moving on, North Shore Wrestling. Sam Osborne and Will Keatis defeated Scott Green and the Tuck Man in 12 minutes 44. A fun little match, this one. I kind of enjoyed it.
Crowd enjoyed
it's
it.
Not like, yeah, I was going to say, it's not like North Shore Wrestling needed more heat, but they got it by getting this victory.
Boy, did they get it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the crowd was not happy about that. And the Dropouts entrance, that's the loudest I think it got in that room all night.
I mean, everyone was kind of singing and dancing along with them. Scott Green and the Tuck Man. Look, the Tuck Man's got so much charisma that, I reckon he could go out to the ring and sit down in the corner and do nothing.
Just drink a beer.
Would be going apeshit. Exactly. The crowd would go nuts for it. I really like Osborne. I think Osborne's such a good worker, and they had a nice match. They had a really fun match.
I prefer Tuckman at this point in tag team matches, just because I can see, and this is just me like watching and working in wrestling for as long as I have. I can see the greenness still on Tucky, and that he needs another year or so. Like his charisma is way above his wrestling ability at the moment, whereas like eventually he'll catch up. But until it does, I think like the Dropouts tag team is a great spot for him, because those promos that they do together, the stuff like that, that's great, and he'll only get better in ring as more time goes on. And I think I've mentioned this before. That like the singles matches they've put Tucky in PWA, they've always put him with someone who's amazing, so they're able to help bring Tucky along, like Robbie, like Mick Moretti. Those guys are really able to help like cover anything that might be missing, because he's got the charisma, he's got the fans behind him in spades, just by the walkout and the look of the crowd. He just needs that little extra thing. And I know we talk about it, like wrestling isn't just about the moves you can do in the ring; it's a whole conglomeration of stuff. And like, yeah, it's like he's not a bad wrestler; he's just young.
Yeah, I loved a lot of the nuances and callbacks as well. Like even the crowd, there was the Tucky, 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 oi, oi, oi chant. And for Tuckman to immediately then go, oi, hear that, Robbie, you dickhead? That was like a veteran type move where he immediately knew, reference that, and that can be called back on later.
Yeah, because he's got that in spades. He's got the charisma. He's got the moves in between the moves down.
Yeah, he's got the other stuff exactly.
Yeah, he's got everything else down. He's got like the hardest part of it down. The wrestling part you can learn. Like, it sounds silly, but anyone can really learn the moves. The technical side of the moves, anyone can really learn the moves. It's putting them together, and then it's also like not doing everything like paint by numbers, and realizing that you can go and work a crowd here. This is the point where I have to go and like get the heat. This is the point where I have to get the shine. This is the point where I have to look like sympathetic to a crowd. He's got all that shit down already, which is the hardest part of wrestling.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting to see him in Melbourne, because in MCW the first month people were like, who is this guy? Who is he?
Yeah.
But the second month they just clicked it on. They worked him more as an everyman, and it just works. It just really works. I agree. I think he does need a little more polish. And even in MCW, they're putting him out in multi-man stuff. They're putting him out in rumbles. If you notice, he's not actually wrestling one-on-one matches a lot.
Which is smart. It's a smart move.
It is so smart. They're giving him the chance to actually really, really strip it back and learn the craft. As I said, I enjoyed this match. I like North Shore Wrestling, despite what I'm going to say in about 15 minutes. So I think that, I think this really worked and was good. From there, we move on. There was a break, but then we moved on to a tag team match. The regime of Backman and the Example, Ricky South, Australia's probably finest wrestler at the moment, going up against Jack J. Bonza and James Graham. Right, before we say anything more, I am not a fan of your rugbies, either of them. So I have a question, gentlemen. Stop laughing at me, and I have a question. Who in God's green earth is James Graham?
Would you like to take it, Jamie?
A multi-time English representative who then played multiple years for the Bulldogs in Canterbury, Western Sydney.
And didn't he play for St. George as well? Dragons?
Yep. Yeah, he played for a few teams.
And why was Waller getting heat for wearing whatever the fuck it was he was wearing?
The Roosters jersey.
Well, because they're generally a very hated team.
They are
they're
like rich boys team.
Yeah. You know how sports have, and teams, especially in Australia, teams have something called a salary cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a joke going around that the Sydney Roosters have a celery sombrero because it's bigger than everyone else's, and they're always able to buy the people
brown paper bags of extra cash.
Yeah. Someone who's only on like $100,000 a year, but happens to have a $400,000 car, stuff like that.
Saying all of that, he clearly respects the sport. He did a good job. Like, there's no denying he pulled his end in and really, really worked hard to learn a few things and do the job and do it well. What did you think of this, Jamie? You were in the building. The crowd seemed to be quite vociferous about it all.
I think the main thing the crowd were into was the hatred of the Bulldogs and his footballing history. There was also a lot of people that were not the biggest fans of his performance. Mainly the facial expressions and the emotion was just non-existent in the building. He was just very robotic going through this.
He was shitting himself.
Here are the moments I know what to do. I'm doing those and that's it.
Yeah,
he was shitting himself.
There was no extra bits. That's almost certain. Todd, what did you think?
Well, like going into the match, I didn't like the fact that it was like Bonza as his partner because Bonza's a heel. Yeah. Like you needed a beloved babyface to tag with him to really help that get over. And like we talk about Ricky South being one of the finest professional wrestlers in this country. He proved in this match that you can wrestle a iron bar and still get something out of it.
God, yeah.
Because like James was stiff. And I don't mean stiff as in like the shots really hurt, although I heard that training pretty stiff, but just like there was no looseness in his lockup. There was no looseness in the chain. It was like him standing there and just letting the guy walk around him and do what he had to do. Hell of a spear on him though.
Oh, good spear.
Hell of a spear on him.
You would hope so.
You would hope so. You would hope so as a former player.
I honestly wanted before he did the spear to go whoa and then go down and then do the spear, but that's me being a late 80s kid. Look, I enjoyed this for the silliness that it was. I do agree, though, it should not have been Jack Bonza who was the tag partner. It should have been someone else. Because is this a face turn from Bonza? Is this, what is this? Like, it's a bit unknown. But I do think Backman and Ricky really worked. Really worked.
Yes, they did. They did.
Like, you compliment Ricky, but Backman definitely helped out.
Yeah. Andy Switch says, I hated this so much. When footballers fight boxers, they get wrecked. But PWA insults wrestling by putting this grub over a former recent champ for what? A handful of fans who disrespected your regular talent on the day. I pop for the ear bite spot at least. Look, it's... Okay, I'm going to say this, Andy. Without him there, they wouldn't have been on like the Today Show or Sunrise the next morning. On
3
the Monday.
times they were on Today or Sunrise. 3 times over the last month.
That's crossover. That's why he was there, mate. That's why he was there. And look, no one's going to remember this match. Next year, no one's going to remember that he beat Backman and Ricky South. No one's going to remember it.
Next week, Ricky is untouchable right now.
They're gonna know that he had a match, but no one's gonna remember what happened. It doesn't matter. It wasn't for sheep stations.
Yeah, it wasn't a title match. It was just
a match.
Get some extra eyes on PWA. Like Waller's gonna bring them in night one. Let's use Jimmy to bring them in night 2.
And also, if they got 20 people in because of the involvement and the mainstream coverage, it's a win. It's a win. It's the same reason. What's his name? Oh, he used to be a Channel 9 reporter. He fought Gino and someone else.
Oh, Seb Costello.
Seb Costello wound up working for MCW. Was it good? Was it good wrestling? Not particularly, but the place was packed and people were yelling and going apeshit. Great, job done.
And who was the guy that beat those twins down there now too as well? The TikTok guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who was the guy that beat Damian Priest in the pay-per-view Backlash? What was his name? The rapper?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. So Bad Bunny shouldn't have won that match?
Yeah.
It worked. Mainstream crossover. It's a WrestleMania weekend.
You've got to bring in wrestling fans that didn't know about PWA, but they might follow football. They might follow Jimmy Graham. They go, oh, there's actually good wrestling here in Australia now.
You get the comic ready.
But what were you going to do, though? What were you going to do? Were you going to bring him in and beat him? And then have you guys just standing over him? That does nothing for nobody. Because, no one's going to remember it tomorrow.
Get the comic ready, Todd. Here's the thing. The two boom periods of WWE, you're too late now. Two boom periods of WWE.
It's coming.
There we go. Have coincided with big celebrity involvement. The first one was Muhammad Ali. The second one was Mike Tyson. They are the boom periods that have really, really helped WWE and wrestling and putting it on the map. That's exactly what PWA were doing. It's not boxing, but it's close enough. It's got that rub.
And every Mania has the celebrity involvement somehow, and this is PWA's Mania.
Yeah,
it was fine. Like, he wasn't good. He wasn't a good worker. He wasn't a good wrestler. Great spear, but it did his job. It was a sore bay to go into the rest of the show.
They're both combat fighters, though. Andy, Vance.
Okay, Andy, how do I break this to you, bro? It's not real.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny, not a combat fighter.
No.
Rapper.
Yeah.
Either was Logan Paul before he started.
Logan Paul was a YouTuber, not a fighter.
A piece of shit, but we kind of got away with it, and a lot of people that celebrity guests don't have anything to do. Pete Rose never had anything to do with it, but the guy got wrestling over.
Yeah, exactly. Counties and Mr. T. They beat Roddy Piper and Norton. The first WrestleMania.
He wasn't even a boxer. He was an actor.
Didn't Donald Trump win his billionaire versus?
He didn't fight.
Match
He just managed.
He was just involved. Yeah.
Yeah, he managed Bobby Lashley, which is ironic if you look at it, against Umaga.
That's right. Yep.
And
I will give like Keanu says, you got to give Jimmy Graham props for doing the dive from the top rope to the floor.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Really impressive.
Closest you'll get me is that second rope. That's the closest you'll get me doing anything. I do not like it.
Closest you'll get me is sitting on a chair making jokes. From there we move on. The 8-man tag match. I really, really like this stuff. They do it every year. From the Colosseum tournament, we have Charlie Evans, Lena Cross, Ricky Utomi, and Robbie Thorpe being defeated by Aaron Jake, Belle Pierce, Ben Braxton, and Robbie Eagles. What a lineup! What a bloody lineup, Todd. What did you think?
Yeah, it was the biggest show of the year. PWA Colosseum, 2-night show, and Robbie Eagles is in a nothing match. Like, couldn't crack it for a big time match on the card. Do you know what I mean? That it kind of tells you what Colosseum is now. I love that they gave Ben just that little bit of a mic spot to get him over as being let the people know let people know how popular he is, as an underground sort of popularity. This was good. It was good for what it was. Poor Chefs didn't have a great weekend until the end, but it happens. I
guess that was to that final moment, though.
Yeah, I get it. It was all fine. It was it's really one of the throwaway matches of the weekend, like the match before the main, when it's the guys who lost in the first round against the champions of PWA. Really, unless you're going to have someone that's a PWA person pin one of the champions to set up a contender going down the line, you pretty much already know, or will always know, that the champs are going to win that one. Yeah. So it was good. It was good for what it is. Got everybody over. Mick Moretti wasn't even on the show. He did that little spot run in, but that was it for the show.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that the times are moving on with PWA, and they are elevating people.
They're very good at that, as I said. Jamie, how was this one live?
Oh, the crowd was very much into this one. It was a fun sort of chill out match between the Jimmy Graham. It got everyone back into it, excited again, but not overly burnt out for the main event, which was great. And Ben Braxton, again, was one of those moments where a lot of new people in that audience, they see Ben Braxton and go, oh, he's a personal favorite now. Like,
he's a star. Well, I've said for a long time that Ben isn't the past, he isn't the future, he's the now. Ben is a star now. If they don't move on him soon, they better move on him soon. Like, he's that kind of guy where you're just watching him going, somebody's going to grab him, not necessarily a major place, but if you know, he's offered good times in Melbourne, he'll come down here and work here. He seems to be that kind of guy. So I'm a big fan of Ben Braxton. I really liked Aaron Jake and Belle Pierce working together here as well. Those little glimpses of tag championship with those two is really, really impressive. And I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I mean, look, you said it's a nothing match, but Robbie Eagles was in it. You know, you know, and Robbie
in the scheme of things, but yeah,
I mean, you know, wearing the Robbie shirt, Robbie makes anything instantly better, and I really enjoy watching Robbie fight. Robbo Entertainment says, bought a friend to PWA for the first time, and she was drooling over Braxton. Ha ha ha. Now, are you sure were you sitting next to Jamie, Robbie? Because she could have been drooling over Jamie. Let's be honest.
No.
Not trying to get you in trouble with the wife, mate. But, you know.
Yes. I think Ben Braxton wins Colosseum next year.
Yeah.
I hope so, yeah.
If
I hope he wins.
That's a massive missed opportunity there.
Yeah. See, there's two things they could do. They could do that, or if they had a heel win it, you get Big Fudge get to the final, and then a heel beat him.
Yep.
There's like one or two different ways they could go with it, which I think is really good storytelling.
Yep. Keanu Review says, can't wait for Ben against Adam Brooks at Newey. I think that match will be what really puts him on the map. I kind of agree. Robo Entertainment mentions that was him drooling over Jamie.
Oh, look at Jamie blush. Oh, shucks.
There we go.
You.
I think you could create T-shirts that just say everyone drools over Jamie. Anyway, we then move on to the main event, the PWA heavyweight title and PWA Colosseum 2024 final. Jessica Troy defeated Tommy Knight in 21 minutes and 23 seconds. Jamie, what did you think?
In the live crowd, it was a bit disappointing when they disappeared upstairs for 10 or 15 minutes and couldn't see anything sitting in the front row. It was like, okay, cool. But
then you saw the dive.
The dive was awesome, and I love that it was Jess's mum that helped her climb up on that rail. And then that was fun. But yeah, it was a solid match. Didn't really do a huge amount for me because it was all half away from me.
Todd, what did you think?
I probably would have liked it more if Jess sold anything. Like, there was a lot of that where she ran through him in different points, which for someone like that is giving up nearly 100 kilos of weight difference is just, it was a bit, there were points in that match where I think in our chat group, somebody, it might have even been me, said, Jesus, I hope Tommy brought a gun because it's the only way he's going to beat this girl.
Yep.
Yeah. I wanted to like this more than I did. Again, I agree with you. I have issues with the selling. I have issues with the fact that until this, Tommy looked unbeatable, and just didn't help him look unbeatable.
Yeah.
And I think that your champion, in my opinion, should always consider, especially at the end of a 2-day tournament, Fudge, and commentary said Tommy had an easier run because of Fudge. So surely you put over that Tommy's fresher and Jess is beaten up and going through the ringer, and that didn't translate, sadly.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It was like it's hard enough we say this all the time. Like, there's nothing wrong with intergender wrestling.
No.
But it's hard enough getting over the fact that she's beating this guy that's 100 kilos heavier than her. It's even harder when she's not really selling anything he's doing to her to beat her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, sell that he's beating the shit out of her, and then she like fights through, like comes from underneath. Like, a lot of this just didn't look like from underneath. This just looked like you were he was trying to beat on her, and she's just like, nah, coming back at him all the time. I'm like, girl, please sell for a little bit so the crowd can actually want you to win. Like, it's hard. Like, it's hard for the crowd to want someone to come back when you're never in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the crowd was kind of indifferent to the finish by the time it came around. It was like, oh, yeah, cool. Jess was winning. And they've kind of painted themselves into a weird corner now where she's beat Charlie, she's beat Kai, she's beat
Tommy,
and Ricky South. Who is left?
Yeah,
Actually, even challenge Jess at this point.
That's why people are calling it Jess Cena. It's just,
and none of this is
like and this isn't anything on Jess.
No,
this is the booking's done her no favors. The booking's done her no favors with this.
I was going to say that, and I personally, I really like Tommy, and it's rare that I don't like a Tommy Knight match, and I just didn't like this. So at the end of the match, because I don't think any of us have really. I mean, it wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't what you want for a tournament final. Year before the final with Zack Sabre Jr. and
was an epic.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah,
Paris, great.
Yeah, every match in the tournament last year built and built and built, and you hit that crescendo.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like we kind of crescendoed with Kai Drake and Jess,
Yeah.
and then it was just kind of.
Do you think that's also the opinion of the crowd, Jamie?
Yes.
Oh wow!
Because
I also think like. Yeah, I also think her walking in and saying, all right, I'm going to defend the title in every match, really gave shit away. Because if she was just going to do the match and just do her matches and that was it, then okay, there's a chance Jess could lose here.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, even though we kind of think this would be cool, she's not going to lose the title in a semi-final match or a first round match. Like, when you look at it from a 10,000-foot view, okay, they're not going to do that, because then this dude, like Charlie, was going to have to defend her title for the rest of the show. And it didn't matter who won that match. It was like, okay, whoever wins that match, they're going through to the final and winning this thing anyway, because they're not going to change the title twice over a weekend. They're just
3 times in a weekend.
Yeah, it won't happen. But yeah, that was one of the things that hamstrung it, and
like what New Japan do, where they just do the old, the champion's in the tournament. But yeah, if they lose, then that person becomes a number one contender. You can build stories off that. You don't actually have to have the title on the line.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the New Japan. New Japan do it all the time. They have the champion get beaten in a tournament in the G1. So then it sets up challenges further down the line. Like they could have had something where and even if you have Kai Drake like lose in the final to like Chevs or something like that, you could have Kai Drake beat Jess in that semi, and then go, all right, Jess, I beat you in that semi. I'm the only person that's been able to pin you or beat you for the last 3,000 years. I deserve a title shot. And then you've set something up going down the line, aside from whoever won Colosseum.
Yeah, you set yourself up for 2 or 3 potential stories for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the way that Jess is being booked, and this is not on her, because again, she's one of the better wrestlers in the country. Like, we say it all the time. I don't think we have to keep saying it to try and defend ourselves when we put across something that we don't like. But here I am doing it anyway. It just, the booking has done her no favors when it comes to like getting a good crowd, like, because eventually the crowd are going to turn on her, and the last thing you want now is for her to go into this hot sort of feud with what happened like later on the match. We'll talk about what happened after the match.
Okay, well, immediately after the match, Charlie Evans came out, appeared to be celebrating with Jess, gave her a hug, congratulated her. Then North Shore Wrestling came out and Charlie super kicked her and they gave her a finishing move. And it appears that Charlie has joined North Shore Wrestling. I have problems with this, but I'll get your opinions first and then I guess I'll put mine forward.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the finish and the storyline. It was kind of just, oh, where did that come from? And like we said earlier,
I'm back.
We probably could have done this in night 1. It didn't feel earned in night 2. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Todd, what did you think?
Of the whole, the Hulk Hogan turn?
The Hulk Hogan turn, yeah.
Yeah. Look, I get what they're doing because at least they're now making it very clear that Chevs is a heel. Because they've never really done that before. They've always just been that Charlie wanted the belt, and that it was always going to be like an athletic competition between two friends, and we don't care. We're going to put our friendships aside for the. Now it's like the friendship's done. Now, hopefully, the next time they have a match, it's actually going to be there's going to be some emotion in it. Now, there's going to be some stakes aside from just the title, actual emotion behind it, which I don't mind. I kind of dig. And yeah, Keanu's right. That's why they put Charlie with North Shore, because they are the most hated. That's 100% right. Like, they gave her that heat rub that she needed. She couldn't have just went out there and turned on her, because then you still would have had some people cheering for Charlie, because they'd be like, yeah, she's never been. They had that. This sort of took all doubt out of their minds about that. Was, nah, she teamed with those fuckheads. No. Yep. Do you know what I mean? And if you're gonna beat Jess, then why not have two heaters with you that can help you?
Yeah, at this point, you need 3 or 4 people to beat her.
Yeah, you need 3 or 4 people, a Panzer tank, and machine guns to be able to pin Jess. So, yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was it wasn't predictable for the fact that I thought I was actually I think I actually yelled at the TV. Oh, fucking not this again! I don't want to see Jess and Charlie against North Shore Wrestling again. And then when she did the turn, I'm like, okay, this is at least something a little bit different. I want to see where this goes.
My problem with it is I don't buy the character of Charlie Evans with North Shore wankers. Because essentially, they're spoiled little rich boys, and Charlie is anything but. So and hear me out, I like the idea of Chev's turning heel. But I think she should have turned heel with Third Eye, who are equally not quite as despised, but it would have elevated Third Eye, and Third Eye could have doctored footage and made it like the Macho Man turning on Hogan, and gone, you see what Jess has said here, and you see what Jess has said there. It's a slightly different take, I know, but I just don't buy Chev's being a North Shore wanker. Saying that, it depends what happens next time.
Yeah, you see, you don't know. She could come out on the next show, totally changed wardrobe. Could you imagine if she came out totally changed wardrobe, wearing what Sam wears? Yeah, wearing what Sam wears, like that. The crowd, the heat from that crowd she would get if she did that. If she took out her piercings, if she took out took the heavy makeup off, she did that. Holy shit! There we go. Keanu says that the regime with Charlie, that would have been great as well.
Todd, I'm going to say this. She pretty much has to do that.
Yeah.
If she comes up with any kind of remnants of Chevs, then it's over. Then no, it stops now. But if she comes out, as Jamie said, in a power suit or in a sweater and a top and almost she's been so long in England, she could probably do an upper class English accent quite easily.
Well, she could easily do that and just go, look, I'm an internationally travelled wrestler. I have money.
Yeah.
Even though we know.
There's no money in wrestling. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But I mean, look, I think it's interesting. What did you think all up? What did you think of Colosseum all up? Jamie, you were in the room. Let's go with you first, mate.
Really solid show overall. I don't think it came to the level of last year's Colosseum, even though there was probably half as many people in that room last year. But yeah, it was overall a really good show. I don't mind the idea of not going home happy, like everyone not going home happy, like we had that annoying ending, but it was fun. It leaves storyline potential down the line.
Oh, well, you want to hook it into the next.
Yeah, that's what you want to do on the big show when you've got people that don't normally come. You want to hook them in for that next one. Like, I don't normally go to those shows, but I kind of want to see what happened now with that girl and the other girl that couldn't be killed. I want to see what happens now going along the line. So, but yeah,
that girl and the other girl will be alive with the cockroaches after the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Todd, what did you think all up, mate?
Like, overall, the weekend was good. It was a really good weekend. Like, again, as a homer, I love the fact that there was a lot of Queensland representation in that. Like, because we just don't, like, up here, we have a massive, like, I'm not even going to deny it. We've got a massive chip on our shoulder because we don't feel like we're respected or we get looked at by anybody. And to get the spots that they got on this year's show was really gratifying to the work that everyone is being putting on up here. So my view from that is somewhat skewed. I loved that. I think Jamie's right. I think last year's was a better tournament, like a better booked tournament, and a better, like, just the matches I thought were better overall for the tournament. But, like, it's still, like, not every WrestleMania is the best WrestleMania ever. And this is just one of those years. I think because it was so predictable after night one that Jess is winning this thing, that sort of tainted it. Because, like, last year, you were just like, okay, Zack Sabre Jr. is probably winning it, but are they going to give it to Zack Sabre Jr.? It's not like he can come back and...
Yeah, defend it.
And you look back at past Colosseums too, like the first Colosseum that had Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy didn't win. So it wasn't a surefire that the International was winning the tournament.
That's right. Yeah.
As Keanu says, it was more a WWE show, whereas previous years have been in JPW. And I think that's a really nice way to put it. Again, I want to shout out the production. I want to shout Rosie Gale and Jordan out.
Jordan.
I think that they did fantastic work and really helped the presentation, at least on the stream. I kind of agree with you both. I don't think that Jess winning on the surface helps PWA. I think it would have been better if Kai or Tommy had won. But saying all of that, still a really entertaining 2 nights. And I look forward to seeing what PWA do with some of the fresher acts like Culture and Braxton. I've been saying Braxton's a fresh act for about 3 years. Time to pull the trigger on him, fellas. And
I would love, like Keanu, Andy said, I thought Culture were the highlights. Love to see him everywhere. I do, but I don't. Just don't take up my booking weekends.
Don't take my guys.
That's cool. It's really hard to get bookings on him now. It's hard enough to get bookings on Genie, let alone the other guys.
Well, we've got Eugenie down here up against Erica Reed this weekend.
I know. That's why I can't have her this weekend myself.
I was about to do my segue. Just straight on there. But at the Thornbury Theatre this weekend, MCW Fight to Survive 2024. I think there's still some standing room tickets available. It's going to be most interesting. There's a lot of great matches in that one. Then MCW do move to the Melbourne Pavilion on Sunday, the 8th of December at 2 p.m. for the MCW Endgame. Of course, Renegades of Wrestling down here have the Northcote Theatre on November 24th. Up the top, we've got Mitch Waterman against Eman Usman, the Golden Boy, and OPW have a couple of events closer to Christmas on the 21st and 22nd down there in Ballarat. Of note, also EPW Reawakening, their biggest event of the year, is on December 14th from Willetton Stadium. That's
the 4-way.
Absolute banger.
Yeah, the 4-way main event that we talked about with Marcus against Jesse and Radmaker and Taylor King. Yeah, so that's going to be a great match.
That's going to be
Taylor's going to get very angry. You keep forgetting him.
I know. I don't know why. Because I see him in my head. I just can never remember I just see the white and the white gear with the... You know what I mean? And the name just eludes me.
That is going to be something. Future shows, tickets for the Pro Wrestling League with Renegades of Wrestling, Australian Wrestling.
Yes, sorry.
For the night before AEW Grand Slam are on sale now through Outix. Ringside seats are sold out. You want to move and get on that. Wrestle Rampage is having a big one this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's the 25 years sort of like celebration of Havoc.
Oh,
so
well,
yeah, do look up Wrestle Rampage and get to that show if you're in Adelaide, please.
And congratulations to Havoc. That is an incredible effort.
25 years, and he's their champion at the moment.
Yeah. World Series Wrestling, they have announced Matt Cardona, Ash by Elegance, Danhausen, Raj Desi, formerly known as Jinder Mahal, Matt Riddle, formerly known as Matt Riddle, and Nick Nemeth. You pop every time I say that.
I do. I don't know why.
Tickets are on sale now. They are moving like great guns in all major cities. You do not want to miss this tour. There's still some names to announce, of course. Aussie Wrestling is on YouTube. There's a lot of free Aussie Wrestling on YouTube. Isn't it fantastic? Pro Wrestling League has Project Revolution 5 up now. Renegades of Wrestling Today released Fever Pitch on YouTube for free. I dare say we may be checking that one out next week. Todd, we up for that?
Yeah, because I don't know if we're going to have to maybe... I don't know if like you and Jamie... Can we get you and Jamie to watch Pro Wrestling League and review it? Because now Lachlan's been roped into doing commentary.
Yeah.
On the shows. So he can, like, it used to be like I can't do it because there's a conflict of interest. But Lachlan can because he goes and watches the shows. Now Lachlan's on the shows. Neither of us can do it. But we can do it.
Let's do Renegades next week because I imagine the promotion for their next show is going to kick into overdrive.
Yes.
From next week, and then we'll do Pro Wrestling League the week after.
Yes.
Riot City Wrestling has Power Trip up as well. Riot City have been putting their YouTube shows up for ages, so check that one out too.
Also, like that the Riot City Wrestling show we talked about is the follow-up to the show that Jamie and I reviewed last week. So it's got the casket match with Katie Trey and Amber. It's also got Havoc against Grimm, which would be a great fucking match as well. So that's one that even if we're not reviewing it, I'm actually going to watch it. I don't even know. I might even do, if I wasn't working like Wide Bay, but if you're up in Wide Bay, go on to see Wide Bay Pro Wrestling this weekend because we're up there we run this town. If I wasn't doing that this weekend, I'd probably do a Sunday showcase where I just watched Power Trip on that because I'm interested to watch that because I want to see how the casket match went. To be perfectly honest with you, because it's a concept that's a hard one to pull off in indie wrestling.
And especially because Amber is such a fascinating character. I really dig what she does. So I think that'll be... And
we talked about it last week. The build that Katie has been putting into it as well has been top-notch heel work going into it. So, yeah, big ups to him for that.
I am shocked that Katie Trey has not been in Colosseum yet, just between the three of us and everyone else who is listening.
Should we go to break and then come back with the women's PWI 250 and we'll move into all the international stuff off that because I just feel that
Jamie has
be a nice way to do it.
Really nice graphic that's easy to follow. So thanks, Jamie. What have we got for the break, Todd? As if I don't know.
This will be completely shocking to you, my friend. We talked about, and we sort of talked about it a little bit last week because you popped into the chat right near the end of the show last week. WrestleBrania was at PAX, and PAX was on Twitch. So what I did is I ripped the Brania from PAX on Twitch. Go and see if you want to watch what happened at PAX for the weekend. Go to their Twitch channel and do it. Well, it's technically Jeff's IP, so I can get away with this one because I made sure I asked him first before I did it. Yes, always ask first before you do it. So what we've got here is just a little teaser, a little test, a little taste. 5 minutes of Brania at PAX. So, and if you enjoy it, mate, where can they see Brania next?
They can go to GeelongComedyFestival.com.au. We are doing shows in Geelong for the first time ever. Announced this week, and in the picture behind me, I'm standing between Charlie Rose and Will Walker because they are going up against one another on Saturday, the 2nd of November at 1 o'clock at Beeves Bar in Geelong. Tickets are about $30. It's not too much. We've got a great comedy talent to announce for that one. So, check it out.
Okay,
and,
so who was on the panel here, mate, just so they know?
Well, we have John Robertson, the incredible comedian from England. He is Australian, but he lives in England. We have Jason Geary from Thank God You're Here. We have Welchie and Bros. And we have Will Walker and Jake Andrew Arthur, OLY. Jake is on the panel as well. And our special referee, as always, is the incredible Bo Stegman. So
He's hilarious. I love him. He's so good.
He's so funny.
So good. So I guess I'll throw to the break because I'm pushing the buttons. We'll be back after this 5 minutes of braining it right here on Making Chicken Salad. See you in about 5 minutes, guys.
I give you a wrestling catchphrase or promo converted into Shakespearean speech. You tell me the catchphrase and who performed it. Bros, John, Jake. So, Victorian Grand City, what dost thou wanteth to speaketh of? John?
Have you got it?
No, you tell them. You tell them.
So, Melbourne, what do you want to speak about?
There we go. No, I want you to say it again, and I want you all...
What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about?
I want you to all go ape shit when he says Melbourne, okay? Please say it again, bros.
So, Melbourne, what do you want to talk about?
There we go. That's correct. Welchie, Jason, Walker, tis positive, tis blasphemously positive.
My favourite game is Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Correct.
It's true. It's damn true.
Correct. Bros, John, Jake. It's a bit of an obscure one, but I shall maketh thee beknown.
Beknown?
I shall maketh thee beknown.
Yeah, I'll make you famous.
And who said it?
The Undertaker.
Correct.
In his midlife crisis period. Which hasn't fucking ended.
I was going to ask which one. Welchie, Jason Walker, who beeth effed for story time with myself?
What? Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?
Correct. Finally, bros, John, Jake, forsooth, I beeth William Bird of Prey, and forsooth, I purchaseth on a hireth leveleth.
What does the suit mean?
Anyone?
John is disgusted.
What could it possibly be?
What is it?
I don't know. Will Ospreay is clearly involved, but as he's an indie wrestler, I'm sort of like flip, and that's just me changing the fucking channel. Anyway, Christ, that was unpopular with the room. Christ, no, this is amazing. All of AEW's audience gathered in one place at one time.
This is the exact number of tickets they've sold for Brisbane. So
John,
it's,
John, actually, it's double the number of tickets they sold for Brisbane.
My name is Will Ospreay.
And?
Something bullshitty, something.
I perch on a higher level, bro.
There you go.
Speaking of bro, Bo! What's the score?
I was just giving 5 points per correct answer, but the numbers were going up. So about halfway through, I just switched to giving 1 point. So it might even be unbalanced. Also, Welchie, John gave me a $20 note, so your triple points are gone. And I know it was a gimmick, John, but I'm keeping this 20. Welchie, you can have your 5
I actually
back,
need
though.
that, but okay.
Nah, it's mine. Welchie,
John's
you can
gotta
have
eat.
your 5 back. You're going to need it for the V line. I also just gave an extra point for your 50-second YouTube comment. I thought that was really funny and deserved more.
I was due.
Team Bros is on 33 points.
Oh, nice.
Team Welchie is on 21 points.
Yes. All right.
Audience unhappy.
I think we move on. Our next game is
could
this.
Malenko, you claim to be the man of 1,000 holes, but I counted, and you know about 60 But I know 1,004, and I wrote them all down.
That's right. It's called The Man of 1,004 Holds, where our comedians name the names of the moves. They don't put the moves on. They mime the names of the moves. I'm sorry.
It's much easier if we name them.
Jason.
Yes.
Come and get your holds. You are miming these 3 holds. Points for each hold that the teams get.
First one. Here we go.
2 words. Bear.
Oh, Cocaine Bear. I love Cocaine Bear.
I was going to say Bros' wife after the Tinder joke.
Yeah, that's sweet. Can you come and demonstrate that on us? Oh. Grinder. Bear hug.
Bear hug is correct.
Number 2.
2 words. Scratch. Back.
And we're back. It was 5 minutes, brother.
I was enjoying it so much.
I was getting right into that.
I was away with the fairies in 3, 2, 1. You don't edit anyway. It makes no difference. Welcome back. Get in the actor, Jamie. Welcome back to Make a Chicken Salad with me, your fill-in host, Jeff City. I'm joined as always. Thank you, Todd, by Todd Eastman and Jamie House. Makes me pop every time.
No.
I don't know why. It's like me saying Matt Riddle, formerly known as Matt Riddle. We have, of course, this week the PWA Women's 250 were announced. Well, a lot of Australian representative and Australian-born representatives before anyone gets upset about the following.
I've already had words with Jamie over this.
She's
Todd already yelled at me.
Number 1 is Tony Storm. Number 3 is Rhea Ripley. Nia Jax came in at 22. Todd's favourite wrestler ever, Shazza McKenzie, at 49. Delta is number 70. Lena Cross is 99. Steph Deland is 101. Rita Stone, 125. Aisha is at 135, which is terrific. Jess Troy is at 166. Jerry Stevens is at 203. Charlie Evans is at 209. And Xena is at 213. Are there any surprises there, boys? Is there anyone...
Before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to Cherry because we forgot to do it last week, and I felt really bad about it because Cherry actually announced her retirement last week.
Oh no!
Yeah, if you look on her Instagram, there's a post about her like she's stepping away. I hope it's not a retirement. I hope maybe she comes back because she's a great worker and like a mountain of upside to her. So I just wanted to like shout her out and say like if this is her retirement. Thank you so much for the work you've done. Amazing talent, amazing character that she played, and whatever she's doing, I hope she's very happy with that going forward.
I think Cherry's upside is huge, and I hope that whatever she winds up doing, she's happy and healthy, and really really appreciate all she's done. It's a great shame in many ways, but if it is a step away, I can't wait to see you again. And if you're retiring permanently, Cherry, thank you so much. It's been great watching you grow, and really your ring work has caught up with your character of late.
Yeah, I tell you in this list, who is an absolute smoky, and I did not see coming, was Rita Stone.
Yeah,
I didn't see that, and this is nothing against her. I just didn't see her because mainly I think she works mainly just Nui Pro.
So she works Nui, IWA, and Slam.
Okay.
That's
fair. Oh, she has two. Yes.
Yes, because she reminds me. She reminds me a little bit of Nina Samuels. She's got a similar presence and build to Nina Samuels, but I really am like someone. Someone wrote to Jordan Grace and said, "Oh, you and Rhea got ripped off. You should be number 1 and 2." And she wrote back, "I don't care. The top 5 or what? Like they're almost the same, really."
Yeah.
But Tony,
Tony earned that number 1 spot this year.
Oh my God, yeah.
She's 100% earned that number 1 spot. And the character work.
Absolutely, and don't forget that back-to-back
years for Australians at the top too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is terrific. And couldn't, everyone in that list that we've just named is a star. Everyone is making waves of their own kind. Like Aisha's back in the US at the moment. And
Not everyone is an Aussie, but everyone's a star.
He's Australian born. But yeah, well done to Tony and all of those people. Of course, Tony used to work, currently works for AEW. AEW had WrestleDream on over the weekend. All right, we ready for this? 5 hours, 20 minutes for the main show, a couple of hours for the pre-show.
Was that 5 hours, 20 minutes for the main?
Yeah.
Holy, I thought it was like 4.
Yeah, I thought it was 4 flat.
Oh, it might have been 4 flat and an hour 20 for the thing. Anyway, Ring of Honor television title, World Television title, Brian Cage defeated Atlantis Jr. In 11 minutes, his title change. Anna Jay defeated Harley Cameron. The Acclaimed defeated MXM Collection with Rico. The Conglomeration, Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy defeated the Outrunners. Truth Magnum Turbo Floyd defeated the Dark Order of Alex Reynolds and John Silver. And the Premier Athletes of Aria Davari and Tony Nese with Evil Uno, Josh Woods and Mark Sterling. There's a lot going on there. Did you watch, have you seen this show, Jamie? I'm going to move on shortly.
I didn't watch the pre-show, but I have watched the main show. I watched that Monday as my recovery day.
All right.
I actually did watch the 0 hour. Believe it or not.
Normally I do, but I was
preoccupied. Yeah. Like I missed the first match, so I'm actually spewing about that because the only match I missed was the title match, Brian Cage and Atlantis Jr. So I'm spewing about that. But I thought the Acclaimed and MXM collection with Rico, that was a nice little piece of business. If you liked like that era of WWE wrestling, just especially when Billy grabbed the mic and when he came out and said, "That's the guy that almost talked me into marrying a dude." Which that popped me when I heard that. And then like he said that, and then he as he said it, he turned around and he goes, "Sorry, Anthony." Like that as well. So he just goes, and Anthony's just like, it's all right. But yeah, it was a nice little flashback. I'm glad that he's not there for good, though. Well, I hope he's not there for good.
Careful, he'll get an all-elite graphic this week now.
Yeah, but most of it, like the rest of that card, 0 hour is basically what Tony books a New Japan house show for a 0 hour. So it's always like a 10-man tag, an 8-man tag. Like, let's get as many people on the show as we can. Which is cool for them because they get that experience of being in front of the crowds. But, well, not much of a crowd, but a crowd anyway. But yeah, aside from that, it was fine. It was what it was.
How was Anna Jay and Harley Cameron?
Anna Jay's gotten a lot better.
Yes.
And I'll leave it at that.
That says it all. I think that stardom too was
politically savvy of you, Todd.
Yeah, Harley. Do you know what? Harley is a lot like Tucky. She's got the character down a lot. She needs the wrestling to catch up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tucky's the different sort of extreme of it. Like Tucky can wrestle a fair bit, but like Harley's got a character down. She just needs that seasoning, and she'll be fine.
Yep.
There you go. It's me being even nicer.
Let's move on to the main card. I'm just going to run through every match and then give us your thoughts. Jay White defeated Hangman Page. AEW Women's World Title match. Mariah May defeated Willow Nightingale. AEW TNT title. Jack Perry defeated Katsuyori Shibata. Please stop wrestling Shibata. AEW International title freeway. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Ricochet and Will Ospreay. It's a title change. Best 2 out of 3 falls. Hologram defeated the Beast Motos. Darby Allin defeated Brody King. AEW World Tag Team title. The Young Bucks defeated Private Party in their 4th defense. Woohoo! On a world title. Mark Briscoe defeated Chris Jericho. And the AEW World title, Jon Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson by actually holding on to his neck a little long because the thing broke. It's a title change. Jamie, what did you think of the show?
It was a solid pay-per-view. It didn't blow my mind like some previous shows have. I don't think we needed the Shibata Jack Perry match.
No.
It did nothing for me at all, even though it should have. The triple threat was awesome. That was awesome. The Kyle Fletcher moment was great. Hopefully that's potentially setting up a Grand Slam Brisbane match.
Well, look at you go. I thought Jay White Adam Page was great. That was a great opening match. That was really, really good. I love Willow Nightingale. Like, I have a boy crush on Willow Nightingale.
So good.
But they are doing 0 bits of jack shit with Mariah May after the Tony feud. Like, they built her up so well with this Tony feud, and they left her off so well, but then they sort of like went this, and then they left her off a cliff. And it's like, what's there for her? She's nothing that she can get her teeth into. Like, Mina's not around, Tony's not around. They're like, there's no real big challenger stepping up to her. The fact that, like, in the post-show she went there for that media thing, and no one had a question for her because there's nothing there to talk about. What do you want to talk about? Like, that's not on it's not on her, and it's not on the journalists when AEW have given them nothing to talk about going forward. Like, you had a good match against Willow. Well, who do you think your next challenger would be? That's about all they could ask her, because there's nothing going forward for her. It's such a shame with how good a storyline they had for her winning that title.
Yeah.
The only real question you potentially could have asked was, have you seen that Mina teamed with Tony?
Yeah.
And that's not on AEW TV, so...
No. And it's not even about her, really.
Yeah.
You're right, Perry and Katsuri Shibata didn't have to be on this show. And then what happened afterwards was even weirder. It was like Daniel Garcia came out to sort of like, okay, this is going to be the next challenger for Jack. Cool. And then MJF comes out and just obliterates Denny.
Mm-hmm.
And shows he's got the ring. And then Adam Cole comes out and scares off MJF. And then nothing else happened. There was no physicality at all with that. And that's where they left it. Konosuke Takeshita and the three-way, great match. It was always going to be a good match with those two guys. And I'm glad that they've put the belt on Takeshita, because it's just what he's needed. Not so much needed, but what he needed, if that makes sense. I don't exactly like the way that they've done it, but I know why they've done it, so Will doesn't have to chase that title again. Will's going to go off with Kyle. I really didn't want that to happen because I wanted United Kingdom to come back. I want Mike Davis to come back in and have Aussie Open backing up Will against Don Callis and his group with Takeshita, and like now Brian Cage has joined that group too. So it's like Takeshita, Kyle, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage.
I'm not trying to sound rude, but it's AEW. They might yet go there still.
Yeah, true. But like he hit Will with the Tiger Driver. So that's a feud. That's something that they're going to have to settle in the ring. So yeah,
yeah, that's at least to the end of the year.
Yeah. Hologram Beast Mortis. Yeah, I'm not really overly into like for a guy that they put a lot of stuff behind with Hologram, because like AEW put a lot of stuff behind the guy. He hasn't lost the match yet, sort of thing. You think they might have put a bit behind actually designing his like mask and his gear, because it is straight out of Creator Wrestler #1.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it was a decent match. Darby Allin, Brody King. I've seen it. I'm kind of over it. I wasn't really. This was where my mind wandered away, and it did not come back for the tag title match because I've seen the Young Bucks. I think I put up a GIF during the Young Bucks. It was just like I put the Groundhog Day GIF up. Well, it's Groundhog Day again. It's a Young Bucks match again. It's the same match every time.
It's the wrong outcome as well.
And the wrong outcome. The crowd wanted Private Party to win that match. They just did. And you're 100% right. Mark Briscoe and Chris Jericho was great because it was 15 minutes and I could get to the gym and get on the bike before it ended. So it was great. I was able to drive from my house to the gym, set my phone up on the gym, and I was on the exercise bike about 3/4 of the way through the Jericho match. So that was good for me.
It's the best way to watch that match.
I thought so, yeah. Main event I thought was great. Or just not watch it at all, yeah. The main event was great. Moxley and Danielson, perfect Moxley match. Great for Danielson. I love the fact that they robbed the crowd of having that last introduction for. Although I will say to the and I know they're paying a shitload of money for Final Countdown. You can cut that shit off a bit earlier than what they did.
Oh, yeah, it went way too long.
It went way too long.
I wonder if it's a case of once it starts again, you've got to pay for it anyway, so they might as well just play it to the end.
At the end of the song, yeah. Well, he wasn't winning the match, so it wasn't going to play again.
Yeah, but I think on his intro, it repeated.
Well,
does it?
Once it repeats again, they might as well just play to the finish.
I know a little bit about this, and you pay a royalty, an initial royalty, and then you pay per amount played. So that is the amount played in total. So, they probably played it a few times just because they obviously knew what was coming. So
yeah. Like I said, the main event was great. Post-main event was it was a beautiful, someone had painted the Mona Lisa and then put a mustache on it afterwards. Do you know what I mean? It was a really great match. They'd done the cool thing where they turned my favorite wrestler in the world, Wheeler Yuta, had turned on Brian, but the guys that they had run in, I was just like, why are these the ones running in to save Bryan Danielson? Could you find anyone else in catering that could have come out? Seriously. I mean, it was fair enough. Darby Allin running out, okay, that's a big enough star. But who are the other two? I think Private Party were the other two guys. Was it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Private Party, and then Jeff, motherfucking Jarrett.
Yep.
What was Jeff doing there? That part lost me. And I know that they wanted to drop everyone so they could do the whole choking with the plastic bag gimmick and all that like that. But I've two reasons I don't like this, because Darby Allin virtually just lost to Jon Moxley for him to get that title shot. So he's virtually just lost him. So for him to be maybe the first challenger doesn't really make sense to me. Darby should have to go back and earn that now. So, and then the follow-up today was even worse. They found even more people that were still hiding in catering to try and fight the Blackpool Combat Club. There was even lesser stars. It's just, I don't know what they're doing. It's really confusing to me. I want to like it. The pay-per-views are great. I want to like the weekly show. It just bores me at times.
The Blackpool Combat Club side of the story is great.
Yes.
The AEW fighting back side is lackluster. It's not on the same level.
Where are the strong baby faces to face him? To face them? There aren't any.
Yeah.
Which sucks. And let's face it, if Kenny Omega comes back, he's not fighting them, he's fighting the Elite.
Yeah.
So who really comes back, aside from Edge? And let's face it, Adam Copeland isn't an AEW original. He's not that guy.
The only person that possibly springs to mind is Eddie Kingston, but who knows how much longer Eddie's out.
That's the only one I can think as well. But Eddie's out for at least God knows how long. And Jay White, yeah, but he's still got to be built up more.
Stuck in the Hangman story too.
Yeah. He's literally in nappies as a babyface.
Maybe Swerve. Because he respects Bryan Danielson, I'm sorry.
That's cool. Maybe. Swerve's caught up in the whole
MVP
Bobby Lashley thing.
Yeah. All of the baby faces are stuck in other stories.
Yeah. I don't know how you can have 300 people on a roster but not find the right people to face your main protagonists.
Either way, it's Jimmy Jacobs' fault. Anyway, on the New Japan Pro Wrestling King of Pro Wrestling event, a video aired featuring Matt and Nick Jackson announcing they'll be at Wrestle Dynasty on Sunday, January 5, 2025 at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, it was announced, like, I think they want to face, was it Okada and not Okada, Omega and Tanahashi is what was. I think they challenged them the other week on AEW TV, but that's for the day after Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's their version of Forbidden Door.
Yeah, Wrestle Dynasty.
Yeah.
So WWE news. Shinsuke Nakamura is headed back to Pro Wrestling Noah. Nakamura and Oka Sasaki. There we
You
go.
did so well before the show.
You did so well before we got Sasaki has been announced for Noah the new year 2025 on January 1 at the Nippon Budokan. It will be his first match for the promotion since defeating the Great Muta at the New Year 2023. The match was Keijo Muto's final time performing as Muta. Look, I really, really, really want Nakamura wrestling, so I'm quite happy about this.
Yeah, it just tells me that it's winter in America and he can't surf.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he's like, I'll go back to Japan. Go visit some family for Christmas.
I'll find something for him to do. Eric and Ivar returned as the War Raiders, and I'm so glad that they're returning as the War Raiders on WWE Raw. They look great. Jamie, did you watch the match or
No.
I watched WWE last week, Todd. That was enough.
Yeah, Jamie doesn't do WWE.
Yeah, that's fair.
I watched Bad Blood. That was painful enough for me last week.
Bad Blood wasn't bad. I love the fact that they feel you can tell they're a lot happier with that name.
Yeah.
So
They looked a lot happier, and I was kind of happy with. I thought the match was really good. Their new finisher looks amazing. We then move on to New Japan Pro Wrestling and other notes. Zack Sabre Jr. is the new IWGP champion. First defense will be against Sonata this weekend at Royal Quest in England. Look, I'm all there for this. I think Zack's great, and I think this will be really good. The only shame was, as we discussed several months ago, he could have held off till January 4 and won it at the Tokyo Dome, but I'm still pretty happy.
maybe Naito couldn't.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's okay.
Like
Former
originally, you
Colosseum
remember
winner,
Yeah, former Colosseum winner, Zack Sabre Jr. If you remember, I really went off on it when it first happened. He announced that he wanted to have it at that thing. Because it was like, okay, I get it. But then it must have been, like we said, like maybe Naito couldn't have done it. But then what I don't get is that why didn't Zack say, okay, I want to do it at Royal Quest?
Yeah.
Yeah, at home.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I hope Naito either gets better, like healthy, or just winds it up. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a fact of like getting healthy, or it's the fact that he just hasn't got it anymore.
Speaking of winding it up, Hiroshi Tanahashi has announced that his final bout will take place on January 4, 2026 at the Tokyo Dome. If you're going to script Tanahashi's last match ever, who do you make it against? Jamie?
If they can get him back, Okada.
Mm.
Yep, agreed. Todd, you agree?
I don't think there is any other answer, is there?
No.
It's got to be Okada.
It's got to be Okada. And it's going to be, I mean, Tanahashi's been an incredible legend. He has been the ace of New Japan. And
You know what? It's either that, or if he can't go like to an acceptable level, have Okada and him team up against somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's nice, I think. It's a nice little bookend to there.
Hang on. Yes? Oh, the Young Bucks are available. All right, moving on.
They could put Chuck Jay White in there, like bring Jay White back to New Japan for that and have him finally kill off.
Alex Firehart said John Cena because it'd be funny. Fair.
That would be funny.
It would be funny. The Super Junior Tag League, of course, has been announced, and we have skated around this information. Clark Connors and Driller A block. Clark Connors and Driller Maloney, Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemuro, Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita, Himuru Takahashi and Bushi, Razuki Taguchi and Dragon Dia, and Tiger Mask and Captain Suicida are A block. Making up B block, and this is the one that we're going to be interested in, Kushida and Kevin Knight, they are your champions. TJP and Francisco Akira, Yo and Rocky Romero, the DKC and Ninja Mac, Taiji Ishimori and a mystery partner who will be revealed at Royal Quest this Sunday. Lachlan's not here. And, of course, the Velocities, Paris De Silva and Jude the Dude London. I'm all there for this. I think this will be a great junior tag league.
Yeah, we got someone in Block A we want to support. We got someone in Block B we want to support. So that's great.
Yeah. I think this will be a lot of fun. Any hints on who Taiji Ishimori's partner will be?
I have no idea. To be honest, I haven't followed New Japan closely enough over the last year or so to be anywhere educated to know. What about you, Jamie?
What's his name? He's Osprey's mate from Rev Pro.
Oh, he signed AEW though, didn't he?
Yeah, I know.
Michael Oku?
Michael Oku, yeah. That doesn't exclude him from going to New Japan, I guess.
Yeah.
A great showcase for him. Opportunity to be like, oh, look, he's world renowned now.
And Ishimori
but then does that make him Bullet Club?
I guess, but you could just have him
Everyone's
split
Bullet
at the
Club.
end of the tournament.
Everyone's Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have them lose and then him just turf Ishimori at the end.
Fair.
Well, the name of the show, speaking of turfing things, the name of the show is Chicken Shit and Chicken Salad, where we look at the things that irritate us through the week, and then we look at the things that we really, really liked. Jamie, what gave you the shits this week?
So being in the audience at Colosseum during the tag gauntlet, particularly early with PBK in the ring, there are still fans that say some horribly disgusting things to the women, and particularly Nikki Van Blaine.
Okay.
Can we stop doing that? It's disgusting and gross, and you can tell it gets under both Nikki and Frankie's skin.
Agree.
And it's not cool. Stop.
Agree. This. You know, we all know this came to a head in Ballarat earlier this year, and it's disgusting. I agree completely. It's not cool. And remember, these performers are putting their lives and bodies on their line every night to entertain us. If you don't like what's going on, don't watch it.
Yeah, go to the bar. Come back after the match.
But please don't be gross and disgusting. That just, yeah.
Boo them as characters. Don't boo them as what they've chosen to, what they are.
Yeah.
Or who they are.
Yeah. Yep. And they're not, they're great. The pair of them are great. We love you, Nikki, and we love you, Frankie. Todd, what gives you the shits this week, mate?
Well, it doesn't give me the shits. It made me laugh about how bad it was. It was during, I don't know if it was during the pre-show or if it was actually on the actual WrestleDream card, was when Tony Khan came out with the grandsons of Antonio Inoki, and wanted the crowd to do the old, let's do the famous Antonio Inoki chant, which the crowd had no fucking idea what that was. So they played it on the screen once, and then Tony wanted them to keep going, and they didn't. It was like a farting.
No.
Yeah, it was like a fart in church. It was the equivalent of, when you're at like a family party or just like a friend's party, and one of your friend's kids comes up to you and wants to show you every toy he's got.
Mm.
And you've got to play along like, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. That's basically what the crowd did to Tony for that first time. And then after they're like, no, we're not doing that again, bro. Like we did Ichi, Ni, San, Doi. Again! No. So, like,
The pay-per-view, we're done.
yeah, get to the pay-per-view, bro.
Jeez, it's been a pretty good week if that's your chicken shit, mate. I just want to say that.
Yes.
And it has. It has been a pretty good week. Mine is actually the chef's turn. While the turn itself was good, I would have liked to have seen even a hint, even a soft hint. And I'm not buying her on the surface with North Shore Wrestling. But saying that doesn't mean it can't redeem itself. So, I'm interested to see where it goes, but there is a surface issue there.
Yeah, I don't think there was even any teasers at the end of their match in night one where
I like
she
that
walks
though.
off and looks angry or something. It was just kind of
I like that. I don't like the tease of it. I don't like people to know it's coming. A lot of the times if my guys do a turn on my show and they want to go, should I just do a little bit? I'm angry. No, don't do that. Why do you want to give it away? Don't give it away. Why? Why don't you want me to give it away? Because then people are going to know why you did it, and they're not interested. They don't want to know why you did it afterwards. Whereas now, we talked about 10 minutes about what she should do coming out the next time. We've all got questions.
I'm just saying I can't see her with North Shore Wrestling, and I want to know where it goes. That's not necessarily a chicken shit. It's probably a light chicken wet fart or poo. That's not shit. That's
A
not
shart.
shit. Yeah. Shart. Alex Whiteheart, my chicken shit has nothing to do with wrestling. It's beginning until it's too late that my train to Brisbane left last night instead of tomorrow. So there's money I'm not getting back. Lol. Alex, I regret reading that one now. Just in case embarrassed you, Alex, I apologize. Of course, we take the good with the bad, and the good was really good this week. Jamie, what was your chicken salad?
the Velocities finally getting their global. Here we go. They're going to prove to the world just how good they are, and prove what we've been saying for years.
That's very
I read that on Twitter, and my first thing was about fucking time.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even help myself. This is out loud. I went about fucking time. They've been the best for fucking years. It's about fucking time.
Speaking of internationals, our nationals going international, Keanu Reeves' chicken salad was UGG in New Japan, and he proved how good he was. Yes, he did. He absolutely did. That's a great call, Keanu. Sorry, Todd interrupted you there. What's your chicken salad?
That's right, because it's really because all the chicken salads is just like it's like the weekend was great for me personally. Seeing the guys that I work with on a weekly basis do really good in Colosseum. I thought it was great. My other chicken salad again is related to the AEW media, the media post-show press conference. When Tony Khan isn't there, that thing only goes for 40 minutes. Instead of the 2 hours, which sort of screwed me up because I didn't realize he wasn't on it. So I'm like, I'll catch that later. And then when I saw it 40 minutes, I'm like, Jesus, what happened? So I ended up watching it, and I'm just like, oh, nothing happened. That's why it was only 40 minutes long.
Yeah,
because I think Tony.
It's like
a
talk show now. It's not so much a press conference.
Yeah, well, in storyline, Tony apparently went to the hospital with Brian to make sure it was okay. But I think, because I actually messaged Kate this week, I went, is there a reason why he's not getting any flack for, like, dodging the press conference and just not turning up in kayfabe? She's like, I think he had to catch a plane to London for the football. I was like, well, that makes more sense. That makes so much more sense. So, but yeah, I find that really funny. But yeah, that's my overall chicken salad was like the Colosseum weekend, just to see all the good stuff that my guys did, the guys that I work with all the time.
Andy from Bob Vance's chicken salad was the Ricky Utami and Outback Adam match. I don't get to watch much Queensland wrestling. The video was good. The match told a good story, and you don't really need to have all the history. I agree with you there. And Alex Fireheart's chicken salad. Zach did it! Fuck yes! I was so scared they wouldn't do it. I didn't believe it until the 3 count happened. I was so happy. Yeah, there is no doubt that ZSJ means a lot to Australians, and so most like Will Ospreay, so it's really good to see. I have 2 chicken salads.
Ooh.
I have 2. The first one is the fact that 13 Australian-born wrestlers were in the PWA Women's 250. That is a fantastic effort. And every single person there is a fucking star and deserves to be there. And to have an Australian for the second year set at number 1 is not something that we should take for granted. It's something that's really, really good. And Tony has worked really hard to be where she is, as have every single person in that count. But Tony and Rhea and Jordan Grace being the top 3, there's not many people to argue. Really, you can't argue with that. The other thing, and I'm surprised you guys didn't mention this, but Waller putting over Australian wrestling as hard as he did was simply fantastic. Australian wrestling is still a bit of a secret, and that's why we're here every Thursday night talking it up and enjoying talking about Australian wrestling.
I have another. Sorry, I have another salad. Go, keep going, mate. But
and having Grayson Waller come here and talk up Australian wrestling and give it a bit of shine, because there will be people who watch it overseas just because Grayson Waller was here. Couldn't ask for any more. He did a great job. Grayson, thank you so much, mate. Really, really.
The only reason I interrupted is because I thought you were going to do a Lachlan and seamlessly transition into the finish of the show.
No, I wasn't.
So I was like, I better do it because he's got that Lachlan look about him. He's about to go. And if you want to see something that's great about Australian wrestling, then you can.
No, I've got something else.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. Like my other chicken salad is, again, this week on NXT, another teaser of Delta where they revealed her a bit more. And then, I don't know if you saw it, the Dean Brady tweet about it. He's like, he goes, I know for a fact that she once held me over a firework during a match, and that's how she got her ability to be able to punch things and set them on fire. Fuck, that popped me huge.
That was a great one. And then last week he said, like, top tip for everyone, buy her donuts.
Yeah, she's happy if you buy her donuts.
It is really, really good to see Delta make this. This year she was number 70 in the PWI 250. Watch where she is next year. I reckon she'll be top 25 easily. Additional chicken salad. Tanahashi doing one more year before hanging up the boots. This is Alex Fireheart, hoping he doesn't get injured and can retire on his own terms. Have to expect he'll be focusing more on the president job after that. I expect he's also ready. Like, he has slowed down a fair bit in the last 2 years. So I think it's time for Tanahashi to retire. He noticeably wasn't in the G1 this year, so I think that says a lot. But Todd talked about being seamless. If you want to be seamless, be seen in Wrestle Radio Australia merch. We have T-shirts and a whole bunch of other stuff. Go to Redbubble and look up Wrestle Radio Australia. But the money doesn't go to us. Oh, no. And I have one more little bit of chicken salad. The money goes to great causes like Gotcha for Life and Beyond Blue, 2 amazing charities doing great things for men's mental health. You can be dressed and help Australians and your mates to the best of their abilities. Now, one more bit of chicken salad. When we did the show at PAX, we are on the Generosity stage. The Generosity guys are fantastic. Shout out to Joel and my good friend Austin, who lives over there in the US and flies over to PAX every year on his own dime to raise money. We raise money for the Black Dog Institute, which is another mental health charity. The weekend, the stages that Generosity run, of which I think there are 3, we raised $120,000 for the Black Dog Institute, which we're in the middle of an economic crisis, and that is fucking incredible. That just made me feel so good to be a small part of that. So if you donated, thank you so much. If you didn't donate, wait for next year. It's going to be a different charity next year. And my friends from the Black Dog Institute, it was a pleasure meeting you. You do fantastic work. Please keep going. If you want to do fantastic work and keep going, you can keep coming here on a Thursday night where it's Todd. It's any number of people, really. Who knows next week?
Yeah, we just don't know at the moment. It's rotating cast of characters.
I mean, it could be Grayson Waller next week. It won't be Grayson Waller next week.
No,
but
he doesn't inbox me anymore.
It's likely to be Todd, myself, Lachlan. Jamie might show up again. We'd love to have you back, Jamie. Don't forget to check out Pario Magazine and Oz Wrestling cards. Jamie, what's the best way people can get in touch with you, mate?
Best spot is pariomagazine.com.au. Everything's there. All the links to socials, cards, everything's all there.
Fantastic. I cannot wait to see who's coming up on Oz Wrestling cards. It always fascinates me. And what? Ooh, there we go. And of course, head on up to
He meant Charlie Rose, mate.
Yeah, he did. He meant
maybe also.
Don't forget to head on up to Wide Bay this week and check out GeelongComedyFestival.com.au for the next WrestleRania shows. But I think we're out for Jamie Apps and Todd Eastman.
Oh, shit.
I've been Jet Setti. Get that final theme ready, Toddles. And we'll catch you down the road.
Trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people do.